Please welcome Gugu Mbatha-Raw and Phil Dunster. Oh my God. Girl. Oh my goodness, thank you so much for coming, you two. Now, Gugu, I just got to gush over you for a minute because when I tell you, one of my all-time favorite movies that you were in, that you were the star of, was Beyond the Lights, where you played a pop star with Nate Parker. I love that movie, and I told you this, Belle, I saw Belle 3 times. I watched Belle 3 times. That role there in Belle, I felt you deserved an Oscar. I said it when I watched it. Did you realize, like, the impact that that role would have on the culture?
Oh, you know, thank you so much, because those are 2 incredibly special projects to me. I knew that it was a special project for me. I knew that Belle was something I hadn't seen before, and it was my first lead role in a film. And I knew that the conversation that it sparked about race, class, and gender was something I hadn't seen done in that way from that perspective. So, no, and it's still, you know, having repercussions now. You know, even on our show Surface, a lot of the crew worked on Bridgerton, and I feel like Belle, in many ways, was a precursor to shows like
Bridgerton, absolutely.
You know, so no, I'm very proud of the legacy of that movie.
You should be. You know, I love Belle so much, I'm gonna go back and watch it again because it's so relevant, you know, absolutely. And I know, I found out that Oprah and Prince were also huge fans of Belle. Like, what did their support mean to you?
Oh, I mean, 2 legends in their own right, of course. You know, Oprah, you know, the Queen of America.
Yes.
But, you know, she was incredibly supportive of the film. She hosted a lunch for us. She gave it every kind of shout out that she could. And Prince, I mean, you know, God rest Prince, what a special, special soul. He threw a party for our London premiere, which was incredible. Our whole after party was basically, you know, us dancing on the tables to Prince playing for us.
What did that, I mean, how did you feel when Prince came up to you, was like, told you he was a fan and he wanted to help, like,
That is
spread the word?
literally what he said. I met him at a party after the NAACP Awards when I was doing my first job undercovers in LA, and he came up to me and said, I'm a big fan. And I just burst into giggles because I was like, oh, Prince, like what? Like, how can you be a big fan? But no, he always was so positive. I mean, he always supported artists. He said, I want to be part of your ascension. I want to be part of your ascension. So it's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's so amazing. And Phil, like, you have so many celebrity fans from Ted Lasso. You are amazing in Ted Lasso. So, who's been your most surprising fan?
I can't top Oprah. I mean, isn't that amazing? God, I mean, I'm really thrown by what that conversation must have been like with Prince. I don't know what I would have said.
Yeah.
That must have been terrifying.
So anybody terrified you?
Love that. Keep on message, Phil. I think that it's when people who come up to you who you're a fan of. I remember Paul Walter Hauser came up to me.
Yeah.
And I'm such a huge fan of his work. And he was like, I like what you do. And I was like, I like what you do. We met the president. We met Biden.
Oh, look at you, we met the president.
Yeah.
You met the president. Sir?
You said Oprah. I can't not.
But you were like, that's a big deal.
That's a big deal when the cast gets to meet the president.
Yeah.
And they get to go to the White House.
It felt very silly. I mean, what's funny is these are brilliant actors and excellent creators. But when you've spent that much time with a cast, you know that they're all just idiots.
Yeah.
Like, in a great way, in the best possible
way.
And what is funny is you're like, man, Collar's meeting the president. That's so funny and brilliant. And it was such an amazing culmination of, you know, you've spoken before about sort of these full circle moments.
Right.
The culmination of all that was a really special, a totally surreal thing.
And both of you are such brilliant actors, and I love it that, like, Phil, now you're on season 2. You've teamed up on season 2 of Surface, and quite different from Ted Lasso, might I say, most definitely. I'm sitting here, and you gave me the chills going down my body, Phil. But Gugu, congratulations, because you executive produce the show, so you're like the boss over here. As executive, you star in it and you're executive producer. So can you tell us what Surface is about?
Well, thank you. Yeah, I get to be executive producer alongside Hello Sunshine, Reese Witherspoon's company, and it's a really female-driven psychological thriller.
Yeah.
Season 1, we saw Sophie, a woman who'd lost her memory in San Francisco, trying to figure out who she could trust in her life, her husband or her lover, or what her life had been, trying to piece her memories back together. In Season 2 now, with Phil, we're in London, and it's really, a much grittier, more far-paced ride this season. She's trying to take down this big aristocratic family, the Huntleys, which Phil's character is a part of. She thinks that they might have been involved in her mother's death, so there is a lot of mystery and intrigue of her sort of almost like the detective of her own life, trying to find clues. So she's really on a mission this season.
Yeah, and I'm liking it. I'm liking the suspense right here. And then, Phil, like I said, Surface is so different from Ted Lasso. So how did it feel joining the cast? You were working with these idiots in the best of ways, which I understand. But then to go over to something like Surface, how was that?
Well, I suppose in the same way that when you approach any character, you're trying to find who they are and why you got to justify any character that you play, even the most sort of nefarious of characters. And with someone like this, it was sort of a similar approach to Jamie from a standpoint of going, who are they? What is it that they said about them in the show? What is it that I'm bringing to it? So that was a sort of, I guess with any role you sort of approach, but it's a lot more, you just have to take it, understanding what the show is, and having season 1, it makes it so much easier for us. It's so clear what the style is, that sort of really lovely, knotty
and where
thriller.
you're going,
in there, and then so it was much easier to slip into on Surface, and it was also. I mean, we love variety as actors. You want to do different things, and so
Absolutely,
it's great.
Like this is like a night and day for you. So like before you got into acting, what was your job before you became an actor?
Well, there's a few, as actors, you sort of spend a lot of time, you're a bit of a vagabond, just sort of like selling. I sold peanut butter at one point.
You sold peanut butter?
I did, yes.
I would have bought peanut butter from you. I definitely would have bought peanut butter from you.
Oh, that's good. But I guess my favourite job was being a butler in the Buff. Probably.
Sorry, what?
What's a butler in the Buff?
My mum is like that. Oh my God.
What's that?
A butler in the Buff is kind of what it says in. You have the word buff here, like in nude.
Buff, like in the nude.
Yeah,
like
but not like fully. Not fully. But it was basically.
Like a little apron or something.
That's it. Yeah, I had dignity. I had the dignity of an apron.
Okay, you had an apron on.
Yeah. Girls gotta eat, man. Girls gotta eat.
So it's a butler. Did you dance or did you just you served?
No, we didn't have enough skills to dance.
Okay.
We would basically be glorified guests at a bachelorette.
Oh, at a bachelorette party. Had on a little apron.
Yeah.
All right.
It kind of wasn't quite as sordid as it sounds, but maybe, yeah, it was a lot of fun to do. And when you're at drama school, getting paid £20 an hour is like, yeah, that's great. I'll take it. It's fine.
So that's what I was gonna say, because over here in America, like we got in the Buff. We're like throwing money. We're making it rain. That's what we call it. We make it rain. We're throwing money at it. So did you get tips across the pond when you were a butler in the Buff?
Hell no.
Nothing.
So stingy, man. The most that we got. There was one time. It was really funny. I turned up, and you're always sort of like. Before you go in, because it was always such like a mad environment. But there was one where I went there and they were like, "Oh, great, just sit down, have pizza. It's fine."
You don't have to do anything?
Yeah, just fed me pizza. And
wow.
And you got no tips? Let me tell you, you come at me in the Buff, you gonna work. Oh boy, I'm gonna put you to work, Phil. One of the other things I love about Surface when I was watching it, I love the fashion. I love the fashion that you both carry through. Look at this.
Yes. Wow.
It is like, Phil, did you know a lot about, because you weren't fashionable in Ted Lasso.
Sure.
That wasn't really the strong point. But here, you are like A1 fashion. Did you know a lot about fashion?
No, not really. No, I sort of, the best I can sort of, maybe this is quite a good example, someone who's, looks like maybe he could put up a shelf, but then maybe go to a fairly nice restaurant in the evening. That's
At the
my
same time.
dream of my sort of my clobber. Yeah.
That's the beginning and end of your fashion.
I'd say so, yeah.
I love it, Phil.
We're gonna have a good time.